Hello and welcome to Dare Mist. So the album's coming out this Friday, the 3rd of April 2026, and it's been 5 years in the making since the last album. So at the end of the last album, there was a few tracks in the bag, and you said to me, let's just hold that back for the next one. And it's took all that time. None of those tracks survived onto the next album. And we went through quite a big journey to get to where we are with it, in terms of the technical side and actually recording it. And it's been if you heard the tracks at the start compared to what's eventually came out, it's been a journey. But what I want to talk about is, right, what makes the album unique, and it's different from pretty much any other album you would come across. And one of the things that makes it different is the time we've actually had to do it, and the fact that it's kind of been a labour of love. But for example, you've recorded quite a few albums.
I've recorded quite a few albums, yeah, and it's definitely a different way of putting an album together. Like, you pretty much wrote most of the tracks for the album. I've definitely come in at a later stage and sort of had a wee bit of input on the tracks at a later stage, in terms of maybe like stripping some things back and maybe enhancing a few things. You know, definitely the sort of BVs and backing vocals, and yeah, just sort of, I suppose, just trying to enhance the tracks a wee bit more, making them, yeah, just better, I suppose.
The thing I find funny about this album, right, and it's partly true of the last album as well, but I think with this album it sounds a bit more natural, right? But the reality of the making of this album is not pretty or like rock and roll in any way. Like, it's
all done in this room.
You've been in real studios, haven't you?
Yeah, it's definitely a different dynamic from going into a recording studio and putting your tracks down as essentially as a live band. This is different, but I still think we've got that feel in these tracks that it feels like a live band.
So there is always a live track start to finish.
Yeah.
At least one that was like recorded in one sitting, in one take, and then everything else is kind of constructed on top of that. But what I find quite funny about it is that if you were to listen to like pretty much anything, it's not been destroyed and rebuilt as many times as these tracks. I feel like there's 5 different versions of me in every song in a way. Do you know what I mean? Because there's like different things have survived, different things get cut out. I know, like, for example, U2, when they make an album, they'll make 5 different versions of the same song, and they'll live with them, and then they'll pick one, and then they'll go with the one that they agree on is to be the best. But we didn't really work like that. We just kind of kept changing the songs, adding things, starting from scratch. You know, some of the songs,
there was some songs where like bass lines or guitar lines or drum patterns didn't really fit, and it was just let's go back to scratch, and maybe it was simplifying things or maybe moving things about, but yeah, there was definitely a wee bit of just added, I don't know, what would you call it, jiggery pokery.
Yeah. The other thing is that it was recorded and mixed in a completely untreated room that sounded like bum.
Now it's treated,
for lack of a better word. And now, yeah, right when I was finishing it,
and now we notice the difference.
Yeah, now right after I finished it, I was like, right, now I can get treatment. But it was a strange creation, in the sense that you'll probably rarely listen to something. I mean, what's kicking about now, where one person does pretty much most of the stuff. I mean, you've got like Tame Impala, he's kind of doing this thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's stuck to kind of one thing, like one sound. I mean, he's delving into kind of more dancey stuff now. But on the album, I think it covers quite a broad range of music. And I think if you're a fan of music, there's at least one track that'll do something for you at one part of the song. But all the songs, like I tried to go start one place and then end in another. Do you know what I mean? So I tried to. Sometimes the songs might not have the best beginning, but it's because they're going to build and then they're just going to go in another direction. And I feel like every song goes in a different direction as well. I really tried to do that, and there was so many songs that didn't make the cut that were probably quite similar to the ones that did, and contain elements of each other. But overall, I think there actually is a cohesive thing going on, even though, you know, people have said, oh, do half an electronic and then half a rock side, you know, and then
there is a mix of rock stuff and electronic, as you know, but I think the listing of the album, like when you listen to it when it comes out, I think it's got a good flow to it in terms of its wee journey and how it's been put together. You know, there's some tracks where there's like no guitars, just synth driven indie pop. But yeah, we also when we released the first album, we got a PR company in to put out a press release and try and get some radio play, and that's something we're probably going to have to do ourselves this time round, and try and upload tracks to local radio stations and try and get a bit of momentum and get the tracks out there. But it's out on all streaming platforms this Friday. You can just hit the button,
yeah,
go and listen to it.
The landscape's changed, and the thinking was this time, let's just put the album out, people can listen to it, and then if we decide to promote individual songs or using that as an excuse to promote songs, the album's there for people to go back to, and, you know, let's just get the thing out and people can go and, you know, if you listen to the album and you think, oh, that's the best song, let us know, because that's what we'll then go to promote, you know. We're also spent a lot of time tonight talking about live music again and how we would go about doing that. Would we get a band together?
Definitely want to play live pretty soon. Yeah, it is. We need a drummer. We need a drummer and a keyboard player. That's essential, I think, for playing live. We have done gigs in the past where it's just been the two of us, but there are lots of session players out there as well that we could probably get involved. But we kind of want a couple of folks that are
just want a band,
in the band and playing and enjoying it as much as we do. We've also got somebody working on some video work for us. Murray, don't know if you're right there, Murray. If you're working on a video for one of the tracks, we don't even know which track it is because I just gave him the whole album and I said pick a track. So we hopefully might have some video stuff coming up, and we'll get that up on the socials as well.
It is exciting. It is exciting because it was a lot of hours. You know, I'm trying to think about how many hours one song would have took. And like, I'm gonna tell you a story, right? I was actually late for work once because I was doing such an intense mixing session, and at the time I was night shift, and I'd done a lot of night shifts, and I was just craving to do some music, and I came in from a night shift, and I started mixing. And then I mixed until maybe like 11 o'clock in the morning, from say 7, which was when I got in. So I'd done a 4-hour mixing session.
And then time to go to work.
I know, and I went to sleep for like 2 or 3 hours, got up and done more mixing, and then I would go to work, and I'd done this for maybe 3 days in a row, and then on the last day, it was before I started my night shift, and my wife came in and she was like, "What are you still doing here?" She was like, "It's 6 o'clock," and I was like, I was so into the mixing, I actually just went like that. I know. I didn't even acknowledge what she said. I was like, I know. And I just kept I kept working on it, and she came in at 7 and she was like, "Are you not going to your work?" And I started at 6 and I was like, shit. I was like, no. And then after your phone done, like, oh no, I can't believe I've done this.
That's an insight into your mind of how, when you get into that wee zone of mixing.
Like there is literally no, like once I start recording, there is no stopping it. Like my brain will just, I won't be able to sleep. If I've started recording, I won't be able to sleep. I will be sitting with my eyes wide open with a tune going round my head until I fix whatever is bothering me. And that has been this album. It didn't start out like that. In the last album, I didn't have that same bug. But see now, I can do it a lot quicker. And part of the problem was that the computer would just crash. So here's another thing about the album. The computer, there's some tracks wouldn't even play.
Yeah,
do you remember this?
I remember trying to put backing vocals down, and we couldn't even record backing vocals without the track glitching out and stopping. Yeah, that was a wee challenge. You fixed that now though.
Yeah.
Upgraded.
I've upgraded my computer, but I didn't want that. That was the other thing, is that I had so many tracks, and I'm like, I don't want to move them onto a new computer in case something goes corrupted, or so I was like, I need to finish this album on this computer. But I had songs that probably just had even so much like data on them just from things that had been deleted that it was probably just clogging them up. But literally what I had to do with some of them was make an adjustment, bounce the track, which took 10 to 20 minutes with some tracks, because some of them are long as well, and then go, I don't like that adjustment, make
one tiny adjustment, and then wait another 20 minutes to bounce it down.
So that was the kind of madness that was this album. But in a way it worked, and I'm so proud that I managed to finish it. And I think that is another thing I've been thinking about for this video, is what is the difference between us and all the other bands that are out there, is that we persevered until the album sounded the best we could get it. We finished the songs, we finished recording it, we've done the artwork, we've done all the things. We've maybe not done the best job of promoting or social media or all these things on the run up, but 100% effort has went into the music, and there's absolutely no two ways about it, and I think it will speak for itself when it comes out.
We can't wait for you to listen to it, and you can check it out on all good streaming platforms. Definitely still some chat about getting like a limited vinyl run potentially. I think that would need to marry up with maybe doing a live show. I'm sure there's a few folks out there that would want to get a copy of the vinyl release. It is something we've kind of looked into. A few friends of ours have sent us some links to some companies that would do some smaller runs of vinyl, so it's maybe something we can definitely look into. But we just wanted to get it out. The music is out there for you to listen to and enjoy. Stick
Play
the
it loud
on, put the headphones on, and let us know what you think about it and what's your favourite tracks, and maybe you get to see us live. Woo! At some point soon. If we get banned.
Too far.